You're approaching the start line where the tapes are, and it's quite nerve-wracking. But then the start marshal calls you up to the line, and there's 4 of you on the line, and there's elastic tapes which are stretched across the track, and then the referee is sat in his box up in the grandstand, and then the green light comes on, and then you rev your engine up absolutely flat out, and then wait for the tapes to go. The tapes go, and bang, you drop the clutch, and off you go, and race into the first turn, trying desperately to get to the first turn first, because the person who's in front has a big advantage for the rest of the race. And so it's pretty nerve-wracking and pretty exciting.
11 off gate 1 in red, Steve Lawson, he's got 2 points. Next to him in blue, Andy Campbell, 3. Off gate 3 in white, John Jackson also on 3. And the aforementioned Derek Harrison off the outside with 5. A bit of rolling there from Lawson and Jackson. Lawson tries once more. The clean start, and Harrison coming off gate 4 is beaten to the line by Andy Campbell. And Campbell, a surprise packet this evening, leads the way. Second man, Derek Harrison. Third, Steve Lawson. And well at the back, John Jackson. And so Jackson's experience of Wimbledon, big nights, not paying off tonight. He's only on 3 points, and he's not going to increase on this one unless he can get past Lawson. The leader, though, Andy Campbell. Andy Campbell, the youngest man in the field, and the man with the lowest qualifying average. The third choice from Exeter. And leading the way, a man who rides in the longest track in the National League, and adapting very well to the tight confines of Plough Lane. He's ridden here once already this year. He rode for the Pool Pirates and scored 6 points in 3 starts. He had 2 wins that night, so maybe not so much of a surprise. But he leads the way. Second man is Derek Harrison, and Harrison needs the points in this one to keep in contention with Joe Owen. But no, it's Campbell home first with a spectacular wheelie. Campbell moves on to 6 points. Derek Harrison in second moves on to 7. Steve Lawson third moves on to 3, and John Jackson in 4th place remains on 3 points. The winner's time there, 61.3 seconds.
I heard about Speedway. I went and watched a meeting at Wimbledon, and I stood there on the first bend with my bag of chips, and the very first race I was just blown away by it. I just thought, wow, I've got to do this. You know, the atmosphere under the floodlights, the closeness of the riding, the crowd. In fact, it was all in the stadium, and I was just absolutely hooked. And so I signed myself up for a Speedway training school at Reading, and I did that. And then I got offered a chance to ride for their in the second halves after the meeting. So you start off and you just go along, and they have a team meeting in the first half, and then there's an interval, and then in the second half they have an event for the main riders, and then at the very end they have what they call the junior races, and that's the beginners who go out and they have a few races between them. So I did that, and then I got signed up for their junior team, and we rode in a league, and then by about 1981 I actually broke into league racing. I got signed by Exeter in the 2nd division, and I rode in their team for a couple of years. And 1983 I got signed by the Pool Pirates, who were a 1st division team. So I moved up from the 2nd division to the 1st division, and I rode for Pool for a year. And then Exeter got promoted into the 1st division in 1984, and they signed me back. So I went down there and I had my best ever year there, because I loved the Exeter Speedway track. And unfortunately, at the end of that season, we got relegated, and I wanted to stay in the 1st division. So I got signed by Bellevue in Manchester. Had a season with them, which didn't go terribly well, although I did reach the British final. At that stage, I was getting to my late 20s, and I thought, right, having been racing motorbikes as a profession for 8 years, I thought it's about time I got myself a proper job. So I did that, and then at the same time I dropped back into the 2nd division and rode for Wimbledon, which was actually my local club, and did a season with them. and then I got approached by Berwick, of all places. Couldn't be much further away, right up in the borders, virtually into Scotland, and they wanted me to come and race for them. So they offered me a very good deal, and I did. And I used to fly up there on a Saturday, race the meeting, then fly back, and I was able to work during the week and do the away meetings down south in the middle of the week as well. So that worked well. So I did that for 2 years, and then I was then 30, and I thought, right, it's time to pack this up and concentrate on my work and my career, which is what I do now, which is graphic design. And I started my business about then. I carried on doing ice racing, indoor ice racing, for a few more years after that, just on a part-time basis. And I actually won the British Championship 3 years on the trot. But by 1996, 97, because I wasn't racing regularly, I started to lose my edge, and I thought, right, time to pack it up. So that was the end.
The official address of Berwick Bandits is Berrington Loft, which is the name of a farm a couple of miles from the village of Ancroft. There is nothing else but fields for miles, yet here there is every chance they will have the best National League side in Britain. It was already a very good one, and now they have signed 3 new stars. There's Andy Campbell, who is currently the British Ice Speedway champion.
I had offers from a few tracks, from British League and National League, but the package that was offered to me here, plus the fact that I know that Dick Barry is a very professional promoter and the racetrack up here is good, everything about it just seemed to be right.
You've ridden here on several occasions. How hard a team were Berwick to compete against?
They're always one of the hardest when you come up here. Very hard team, very aggressive riders. Always a bit daunting as a traveller to come here, but I'm looking forward to being part of that, and hopefully it'll work to my advantage now.
For the Federation Bandits, Andy Campbell. Andy Campbell, former Wimbledon rider.
I was fortunate to get the sponsorship of a local garage called Renix, who gave me a good deal on this Peugeot van, which I then fitted all out inside. It had a couple of beds in there. It had racks for the bike in the back, and we put windows in the side and put a little cooker in there. And so when you're going to race on the continent, you had somewhere to sleep. In the winter, when I wasn't racing, I worked as a motorcycle courier. So I didn't actually wear my leathers for doing the courier work, but this was a publicity shot that we did for the local newspaper. This is a shot that I did for the Sun newspaper. They had a thing called Page 7 Fella, like the Page 3 girl. And my promoter at Wimbledon Speedway nominated me to go. So I took my bike up to London, to Soho, to Beverley Goodway, the Sun photographer's studio, and that appeared on Page 7. I've got a few boxes of trophies in the loft, and I thought it'd be nice to get them out and just take some pictures of them, which is what I did there. My daughter Alex with me. So yeah. Well, this is a Speedway bike, an old one, about 32 years old. I think it's 1988. And as you'll see, it's quite different from the normal motorbike. There's no lights, there's no speedo, there's no rev counter. It's a single seat, 500cc single cylinder engine, which runs on methanol fuel. We just have a tank big enough just to do the 4 laps of the Speedway track. These are the controls. You've got a throttle and you've got a clutch, and that's it. There's nothing else. This is an engine kill switch. You put it around your wrist, and if you fall off, that comes out and that cuts the engine out, so the bike doesn't carry on and run over anybody else. For the first time in 15 years, let's see if this thing goes. I'll be amazed if it does.